Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to absolutely demystify artificial intelligence for educators and show you how to reclaim hours, literally hours, of your week. If you've been feeling totally bogged down by administrative tasks, lesson planning, and the endless grading, well, you are in the exact right place. We're going to turn AI into your ultimate teaching assistant.
Let's just jump straight into our roadmap. We'll start with what AI actually is, look at traditional versus generative AI, dive into why teachers really need this, master the art of prompting, build your classroom toolkit, and finally, wrap up with responsible AI use in education.
Okay, so part one. What is artificial intelligence? Let's demystify the technology.
Right off the bat, we need to strip away the science fiction. AI is not magic, and it's definitely not a robot coming for your job. Actually, it's just a branch of computer science. The whole goal here is to empower software to tackle tasks that usually require human-like reasoning, learning, and problem-solving. Whether it's understanding language or generating new content, it all traces back to simulating human capability through a machine.
But how does a machine actually learn to do that? Well, it follows this continuous six-step loop. First, the system ingests a massive amount of data. Then, during model training, it learns the underlying patterns within all that data. Once it's got those patterns down, it can make predictions or generate new content, and it constantly refines itself based on your feedback. It's really just a tireless cycle of continuous improvement.
And that leads to a massive light bulb moment, which is absolutely crucial to understand. AI is not conscious. When you ask it a question, it doesn't think about the answer the way you or I do. Not at all. It is simply a highly advanced prediction engine. It just retrieves those learned patterns and mathematically predicts the most probable output based on the vast amount of data it was trained on.
Moving right along to Section 2, Traditional versus Generative AI, and understanding the difference between the two.
So there's this huge shift happening right now. Traditional AI, that's all about analysis. You feed it data, and it spits out labels or scores. You know, like Netflix recommending a movie or your email filtering out spam. But generative AI is a whole different ballgame. Its main purpose is to create. You just give it a conversational natural language prompt, and boom, it generates brand new text, images, audio, video, or even code.
Which brings us to Section 3. Why teachers need AI, the ultimate time saver.
Why should you even care about this shift toward generative AI? Well, think about your current workload for a second. What if I told you that a huge chunk of your administrative and prep burden could be chopped down to just 40 minutes? Seriously, just hold that number in your head for a moment.
Because without AI, a standard prep session is basically a marathon. It might take you 6 grueling hours, 3 hours painstakingly building a PowerPoint, 2 hours drafting a quiz, and an hour writing up a lesson plan. But with AI, that exact same workload drops to a 40-minute collaborative sprint. You spend 20 minutes refining an AI-generated presentation, 10 minutes tweaking a quiz, and 10 minutes finalizing that lesson plan. It is a literal game changer.
And beyond just giving you hours of your life back, AI acts as your tireless teaching assistant. It can automate your question papers, evaluate assignments, translate content for your ESL students, and even provide personalized learning paths. This completely frees you up to focus on what actually matters, engaging directly with your students and elevating the overall quality of your teaching.
All right, Section 4, the art of prompting. This is all about how we communicate with AI.
To unlock all those crazy benefits we just talked about, you really have to learn to speak the machine's language. A prompt is just the instruction or question you give the AI. But here's the golden rule, folks. Garbage in, garbage out. The quality of the AI's output relies 100% on your input. Vague instructions, they're going to give you unhelpful, super generic answers.
So to guarantee high-quality results every time, you want to use the CRISP framework. That stands for context, role, instruction, scope, and purpose. Basically, you need to tell the AI the exact context it's operating in, what role it should take on, like, say, a strict evaluator or a creative writing coach, the specific instructions, the constraints for the scope, and your ultimate learning objective or purpose.
Let's look at CRISP in action. A weak prompt is something like, write about artificial intelligence. That gives the AI way too much freedom, and you're just going to get a boring encyclopedia entry. But look at a CRISP prompt. You assign a role, computer science lecturer. You define the scope, a 45-minute lesson. You name the audience, first-year students, and you set super clear instructions to include learning objectives, activities, and quiz questions. That prompt gives you a highly tailored, ready-to-use lesson plan on the very first try.
Next up, Section 5, AI tools for your classroom, where we start building your toolkit.
Okay, so now that you know how to talk to these systems, where do you actually go? Feel free to pause this explainer and screenshot this because this is your ultimate starter toolkit. Need to brainstorm a lesson plan? Head over to ChatGPT, Magic School, or Claude. Want to generate a slide deck in seconds? Gamma AI or NotebookLM are amazing for that. For engaging assessments, you've got Quizzes AI and Kahoot AI. And for customizing reading materials or generating worksheets, you definitely want to look into Diffit or eduaid.ai.
Finally, Section 6, Responsible AI in Education. Let's talk about the ethical blueprint.
Before you run off to test all these awesome platforms, we really have to discuss the non-negotiables. Remember, AI is your assistant, not your replacement. You absolutely must verify the information it generates, because honestly, it can and will make mistakes. You also need to fiercely protect student privacy, never ever upload sensitive grades or student data into a public AI tool. Be completely transparent with your students, and always use these tools to assist, not replace your own professional judgment.
We've seen how AI can turn 6 hours of grueling work into a quick 40-minute sprint. But remember, AI can only generate the materials. It can't replicate your empathy, your mentorship, or the real connection you have with your students. So I'll leave you with this question. When AI gives you back hours of your life every single week, will you just take a well-deserved breath, or will you use that time to completely reinvent what is possible in your classroom?